What's up, guys? Welcome to the Momentum Trading Lab. Smash that like and subscribe, and let's get into it. All right, guys. I've got something cool planned for the beginning of the stream. Sorry, I forgot to start the music. Amateur hour over here. All right. So today was a pretty good trading day so far. I had the London session, the silver bullet, as well as the New York silver bullet, and I want to quickly go through that. That's basically my main entry model for the New York session, and I try to hit that every day, and it's one of the most easiest setups to basically learn, and we'll quickly go through it. I also made a recording of the actual execution on Ninja Trader, and we can quickly go through that. I rendered the video in 10x the speed, so it will be very quick. I think it's like 2 minutes in total for a 15-minute trade. So I'll just give you my thoughts. So alright, so first off, the silver bullet for the New York AM session is obviously between 10 and 11 AM. That is Eastern Standard Time. So let's go to the 5 minutes. Okay, so on the 5 minute, I'm just gonna mark off between 10 and 11 with a little box. 10 to 11. So this is the silver bullet time window, and I'll explain more as we go into it. So just see this as a time window. So this is when we are going to be executing the trade. Alright, so the New York Open 9:30 is very important for this strategy. So I'm gonna mark it right here, 9:30. Okay, so that is the open. Okay, so now that we have that marked off, I'm just gonna set the visibility so we only see it on these lower term time frames, so current interval and below. Otherwise, when we go to the higher term time frames, then it's going to look a little messy. I actually just want to see that opening time so we can mark off the liquidity pools that I was watching, all intervals. And I gave the setup this morning in the Discord. So if you are not in, definitely get it. So this was the setup that I was looking at. So just before that, I said the open went to the sell side. So we are likely looking to long a bullish fair value gap during the silver bullet. And I'll explain everything as we go. And then I said still being patient. Yes, still untouched sell side liquidity below. So there was a liquidity pool on the 1 hour, which was this line. And I'll show exactly how I found that line. So I was kind of anticipating price action to tap into this area and then displace to the upside, taking out the most recent lower high, giving us that bullish market structure shift. And if we have a fair value gap, and I love using the 2 minute for this, and if we get that fair value gap on the 2 minute, then I just enter on that gap. And then the idea is to take profit at your first opposing liquidity pool, which would have been this one or that one right there. But we'll show you. I got the live execution right here, so we'll have a look at that in a moment. So I said still being patient right here. Then you'll see it just tapped into that area and then started to aggressively move away, giving us that displacement. We'll see it. This was the, you'll see it, we displaced above that high with a fair value gap. So my entry was right there on the top of the fair value gap, and then it started to run. All right, so let's go back to the chart. Okay, so 15 minute. So on the 15 minute, the first thing that caught my eye was these relative equal lows. So that was already a clue. So beneath these lows, we have sell side liquidity, equal lows, sell side. Okay, so now see what happens, right? Right at 9:30, we move into the sell side liquidity, and there was even that low right there. I think this was the low that I was actually mentioning in the Discord, the one that I was waiting for. That line right there. As I see from the open up until, it's normally up until about 10 to 10 or 10 past 10. They move it from the open into a liquidity pool. So this move algorithmically is just to go and raid liquidity, and then it reverses basically in the intended direction. So this is how I trade the AM session every single day. I just watch the open. I have my liquidity pools marked off that you can just find on the 1 hour and the 15 minute. You're just watching for untouched highs and lows on the 15 and the 1 hour. And if you have a bias on the daily chart, that will also assist with this strategy. But most of the time, the open will kind of tell you what to do. The open is normally kind of a false move into liquidity, and then it aggressively moves away. So let's get this box a bit lower. Okay, so there they tapped it, moved away. That was your very last lower high. So the market structure shift happened right here when we moved above that. And then right there is a fair value gap. And like I said, the 2 minute is my favorite time frame to do this on. I literally just had my limit order right there for 2 minis. And then I tried to target this one and that one right there. I ended up closing everything in around this area because I had to bounce at 11, and I think it was up 40 points. So I was basically reached my goal for the AM session. I didn't want to be too greedy, so I just closed it for that amount. So just to recap kind of my silver bullet strategy, just observe the open between 9:30 and around 10 o'clock. It's going to move into liquidity, so it's just going to raid liquidity. So this was the obvious sign right here, is these equal lows, but then it also went towards that low right there, and you can see it just tapped into it and then displaced away. So the displacement is key. You want to see that fair value gap, and I just had my stop right there below that. So for some people that will be too much risk, but I am very confident in this strategy. So I just do it every day, and then over time, obviously you will just accumulate more and more as long as you do this inside of your risk parameter. So I've got a futures risk calculator that I kind of wrote a macro for in Google Sheet. So if you guys want it, you can just DM me and I'll send it to you in the Discord. All right, so just entered right there, and then it ripped to the upside. So from 9:30 to around 10, that's the move into liquidity. Then you, as soon as it goes into sell side, then you know we are looking for a bullish fair value gap. The correct technical term is a busy. So this is a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. So if we move into sell side, then we know we are looking for a busy fair value gap. And if we moved into buy side from the open to 10, then we are looking for that SIBI fair value gap, which is the sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. All right, so that's super simple. That's my silver bullet strategy for the AM session. Okay, and this was the this is 10 times the speed. This is just a minute and a half. I'm just gonna press play. So right there, We identified it, tapped into the liquidity, and started to aggressively move away past that high. So I set my order right there. Then it came into it. Okay, so at this stage I'm just waiting. So I think this trade took about 14 minutes, maybe a little bit less, to play out. So I'm just trusting in the strategy at this stage. Obviously when you see you are up almost 20 points. Okay, there I took one off. And right there it kind of seemed like it was losing momentum. So I wanted to take that one off and then potentially buy again when it retraces into the OTE. And I was also running out of time, so I just took that one off and off. So that was a pretty solid trade in my opinion, and then I just stopped for the rest of the day. So I haven't looked at the chart really since that. So let's have a look at what's going on potentially for the rest of the day. I'm gonna delete everything. Let's go to the daily. I think we should actually start with the dollar index. So I thought the dollar index was going to retrace to that fair value gap, but it just basically rebalanced this one and then started to move to the buy side again. Okay, if you guys have any questions, you are welcome to pop it in the chat and I'll have a look at it as we go. So any technical analysis questions, please pop them my way. Okay, so moving towards the buy side, like we identified in previous streams, is this volume imbalance. Okay, and then in one of the previous streams we said if we rebalance, I thought we were going to move all the way to this fair value gap, but it seems not. It's moving towards the buy side liquidity, and it looks like it is starting to break past the volume imbalance. So it seems likely that it's drawing towards this high. It seems that is the next obvious draw for the dollar index. So look at the 4 hour. So eventually got past this, that's the 6 hour. I want to see the 4 hour. We were looking at this imbalance. I thought that they were inducing liquidity below these lows, and they would come and touch this first before going to the upside. That obviously did not happen. Just started to displace to the upside. So we'll see. I think if the 4 hour closes above this, then we are rapidly moving towards that area. Otherwise we could come, let's see how many imbalances there are on the 1 hour. So it does look like the dollar is kind of running out of steam in that volume imbalance again. And then we have this fair value gap right here. You can see on the 1 hour, everything is overextended. Also get a fib from this low to the high. Alright, and that lines up nicely. So we have this fair value gap. Let's just fix that. Fair value gap squeezed in between the equilibrium and the 706. It seems like this is kind of the high for this little leg to the upside. And then obviously the momentum masters also indicating that the dollar is running out of steam to the upside. So a retrace back into this area seems likely before potentially heading towards the draw on liquidity identified on the daily. that high right there. But looking at the 1 hour, seems more likely we get the retrace into this fair value gap. And the high of the fair value gap is at 104.941. The low of the gap is at around 104.763. Okay, let's have a look at the 15. Where did it go? My indicators disappeared on me. Okay, they optimize more for your lower term time frames. I know Danny, the creator, he uses it on the 1 minute and below. I use it on the 1 minute. Gives me pretty good signals on the 1 minute as well. Okay, so on the 15 minute, that imbalance is visible as well. Creating this double top. So this is kind of setting up for a little trap. Relative equal highs. A lot of times I just push it in. This will be your very last high or low. So this is something you will see a lot. When it kind of runs out of steam, you'll see this double top or triple top formation. So this is inducing traders to go short and put their stop losses in this area. Then they just tap into it, and then it displaces to the downside, taking out the last higher low, and that's basically your indication to get short. Something like that. So then I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I'm just gonna add an alert on this, and I think I haven't used this in a while, but I think I'm gonna do it now. So in the Discord, there's a section called Trading View Alert. So this is basically hooked up to my Trading View Alert, provided that I set it up correctly. So I'm gonna set this up, and this is gonna tell everyone in the Discord that the dollar is breaking bullish market structure into bearish market structure. Okay, I just quickly need to get, there's a certain format that I need to use. Just need to quickly get that. Okay, so we are gonna say Dixie 15 minute breaking into bearish market structure. Okay, so we'll wait for that to happen. Just want to see the 1 hour again. Okay, so imbalance right there. In the larger volume imbalance on the daily, after taking buy side, so it seems likely that it's in order for a little bit of a retracement. You can see how the 1 hour looks as well on the momentum master. 4 hours still has a little bit left, but the 1 hour can still do its thing. But let's say it looks like this little candle wants to expand into the liquidity, and then we'll watch if we get this displacement. This will tell us that the larger players are buying up the buy stops in this area. So they are likely inducing traders to go short right here and put those stops right there. Let's see if there's any other significant highs in this area. Just want to see what's going on over here. I was just trying to see if there's any other imbalances or something that we are missing. All right, I think that's it for the dollar. Pretty straightforward. Kind of interesting that the dollar and the Nas looks like they've been going up together today. Okay, we've got Illuminated here in the chat. I'm assuming this is about the Optima. So he says basically 30 seconds as a precursor and 1 minute ideal, can go up to 5 minutes. Yeah, so I've been using it on the 1 and the 2 minute and pretty good. The divergences are pretty fire. So you can also, a lot of the times your fair value gaps and stuff will fail when you are not reading price action correctly, and the Optima will definitely save you in those scenarios. So if you can get like a divergence on the 1 minute while price action is on your level, then that's obviously very good confluence to open the trade. Okay, so in the beginning, our draw on liquidity kind of for the week was to the upside because we retraced into a discount, rebalanced this fair value gap, and we have the buy side liquidity right there with the volume imbalance. It feels like I talk about this every day, so I'll just keep it short and we'll just get the stuff back on the chart. So I delete everything every day, or I actually delete it a couple of times a day just to, especially after I close the trade, and I delete everything, try and get a fresh view. Okay, so we already took out the previous day high, but still expanding. Let's see what the 4 hour looks like. Okay, so this was kind of my draw on liquidity for the day was this high. The liquidity right here. So we'll see if we are gonna be moving down from here. I mean, there's also the liquidity right there. The dollar looks like it wants to come down potentially during the afternoon session. Got this little leg up. The Nasdaq has also got this little leg up, but it doesn't look as bullish as the Nasdaq, or not the Dixie rather, because it's got this nice imbalance where this is just kind of, you know, up and down, up and down. 1 hour doesn't look too good on the momentum master. Okay, so but with that being said, so price action moves from sell side to buy side, and from buy side to sell side. That's basically what it does the whole time. So we can see here it came down into sell side. There was a pretty strong low right there, then aggressively started to move away from it into buy side again. So it seems kind of obvious that it needs to come down. So the Nasdaq and the Dixie has been moving up together today. So will they come down together? I'm not too sure. The things aren't as clear now as it was this morning. So there's some relative equal highs that it took out. So it didn't really displace above it. We'll see. There's still 11 minutes left on this candle. This doesn't look too bullish as well. There's a tap into the sell side, move towards the buy side. And like we said, we came into this high. Nice, we've got Borg here as well. Hope you're doing good, Borg. Okay, so I took buy side. Also get a fib on this, so I think it's kind of likely for the afternoon we start to move towards the equilibrium, perhaps around 15,619. I was seeing on the I think I posted this in Danny's server yesterday, this little leg, and it came exactly towards the equilibrium and then started to move away. So this was the same thing that I pointed out. It came into the sell side, moved towards the buy side, just took out that high, then retraced into the equilibrium almost exactly, if I remember correctly. Tapped into it and then started to move away. So this almost kind of looks the same as that. So I think it's likely for the afternoon we start to move towards the equilibrium right here. Let's get this fib closer to the price action on the 15-minute. Okay, and then we can see how it came into this. Touch that order block exactly. Pretty interesting how accurate some of these concepts are. This is obviously hindsight right now, but it's still an interesting observation. Okay, so like we said, we came into the buy side. Also had relative equal highs, came into it. Not really displacement above it. So there's a nice little low right there that we can monitor for a potential market structure shift. Let's just see even if this trade will be worth it. So that's the low that it will have to take out and then come back, right? Or retrace to the upside a little bit and then move it. So always try to target the low hanging fruit first. Yeah, so if we try to get this setup, this could potentially offer like 40-50 points for the afternoon session. Okay, so the afternoon kill zone starts in 23 minutes. Let's see how this looks on the 5. Again, this is kind of my so in the beginning of the stream we went through the New York AM silver bullet setup that I use that incorporate the move from the open to around 10 o'clock. You just monitor to see which side of the liquidity they raid, and then you look for the opposing fair value gap to enter. And then this is kind of the second entry model that I use. It's just tap into buy side, wait for market structure shift. So you just keep on tracking the last higher low, and then you just wait for displacement below that, and then you just enter in a premium fair value gap if you go short, and then you run it to the opposing liquidity pool. So right now for the afternoon, it seems like right now the obvious setup is to wait for displacement below this low and then enter on the premium fair value gap and then run it to the opposing liquidity pools. You could even, or well, we say to the equilibrium right there. So that will kind of be your low hanging fruit. On the 5-minute, there's an imbalance right there that you can use to take off your next contract. That's also at the 706, so the OTE for this bullish leg to the upside. And then obviously that low right there, that will be the ultimate target. If you can get that leg down, that will be a pretty epic trade. I mean, that's 154 points. I mean, even if you just have one mini in it, that will be pretty epic. So that's what I'm targeting right now for the afternoon session. And I like using these alerts. So if it gets there, it alerts me. Then I can see, are we displacing below this low, or are we just tapping into any trailing sell side stops? There's obviously a lot of people that use ATM strategies, and sometimes they will just tap into that, knock them out, and then displace to the upside, and then that's your trigger to potentially go long in a discount fair value gap for that little leg to the upside. Illuminated says my dad talks about VIX a lot. Yeah, what's his name? CNC. He also uses the VIX. That's kind of something on my to-do list for the things that I want to learn when I have time, but I just haven't had time yet. Do you know anything about it, Illuminated? Any special insights you could share with us? Okay, so it's 10 past 1 right now. Like I said, the kill zone starts in 20 minutes and the silver bullet starts in 50 minutes. So let's have a quick look at Bitcoin. So this is kind of what we looked at yesterday, if I remember correctly, was fair value gap and then a little move to the upside. Okay, Illuminated says it indicates the incoming volatility and recently being suppressed. That's pretty interesting. I think I'm gonna commit some time over this weekend to read up on the VIX. Alright, so if I remember correctly, yesterday we discussed the possibility of a bounce off a 1 hour fair value gap into the 4 hour fair value gap that we have right there, and then potentially consolidating, making an inversion fair value gap from this and then moving to the upside perhaps. But that was when I was also expecting the dollar to go down more. So my thinking was on the 4 hour, we push into that fair value gap, consolidate a bit, rebalance it, and then push to the upside as the dollar is going down into that daily fair value gap. But obviously the dollar did not follow my exact projection. You can see we are pushing past that imbalance right now. Yeah, so like I said, I was expecting a move into this fair value gap, which obviously did not happen. And then while that was happening, my expectation was for Bitcoin to consolidate in this area and then push to the upside towards the liquidity. But I think that seems more unlikely right now. Seems like on the 4 hour, now that it took the buy side liquidity, that we might see a retrace back into discount before moving to that 4 hour imbalance. It's Illuminated says, so my dad is saying it's being manipulated to avoid a market crash or whatever. That's pretty interesting. Alrighty, so just to recap, this is obviously a stream for the Nasdaq. Quickly just... Okay, so this is the setup that I'm looking at right now. Seeing that we came into buy side, I'm watching to see if we are going to displace below this low. And in that displacement to the downside, if I see a bearish fair value gap, that will be your entry zone. And then you can run it towards the equilibrium. You can take one off right there, take one off in that imbalance right there, and then the ultimate target will be the sell side liquidity below this low. But if anything changes, I'll post the setup right as I get ready to enter. I'll post it in the Discord as I did today. So if anything changes, then I'll let everyone know in the Discord. Alrighty, okay, Illuminated says, as in, it's at its all-time lows. That's pretty interesting. So why do you think they are doing that, Illuminated? Just to avoid a market crash? I think what I don't understand is how manipulating the VIX is avoiding a market crash. I think is what I don't understand. But I don't really know what the VIX is, so I'll have to go and read up on that a bit to try and figure out why they would do such things. Alrighty. I think that is that. As I said, I will keep you guys up to date with what I am seeing in the chart. And I will post it in the Discord in my channel as we go along and as we enter the silver bullet. We'll see. We might just drop around in the afternoon session, but as I said, right, couple of minutes after the kill zone, we should try it. It should show us what it's trying to do for the rest of the day. All right, thank you guys. Thank you for everybody that tuned in today. I think my streaming schedule tomorrow is going to be a little different. I think I'm going to do one before the London session. I have some other things going on in the afternoon session tomorrow, but then I'll be back again on Sunday with the pre-market analysis at around the same time I did it last week. And yeah, then I'll keep you guys updated in the Discord. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day and be safe out there.